Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fablinski's coming at you next with this insane early game Pyromancer build. Now, I recently downloaded the Outriders demo, which is what this is right here, and I was playing around with it, messing around with it, seeing if I liked it, and this game really brings me like Borderlands and Diablo vibes, and I love both those games. I wouldn't even compare this game to Destiny. I think that Destiny is just in a league of its own, and honestly this game doesn't even feel like Destiny. We don't know what the end game is like because we've only had our hands in the demo, but for right now I would say this game is much more of a direct competitor to Borderlands as opposed to Destiny. But anyway, I made this early game build for the Pyromancer because that's the class I've been having the most fun with, so let's go ahead and break it down. So since this is just a demo, our max level we can hit right now is level 7, so I only have 2 nodes right here. This is my first node, increasing my anomaly power by 6%, and then I also have World Ablaze, reduce cooldown of your explosive skills by 15%. So yeah, it's an early game build. There's not much else I can do here. Now, as for my skills, here is where things get a little bit more important. So our first skill is heatwave. Summon a fire wave that deals 73 damage and inflicts burn onto all enemies in its path. Now this right here is 73. This is a direct, how can I say this? Your anomaly power or anomaly strength is a direct influence on how much damage you're going to do here. So if you have less anomaly power or less anomaly strength or whatever, you're going to do less damage here. Now my second skill is Thermal Bomb, which is an explosive interrupt skill. Select an enemy to burn, interrupt, and deal 54 damage to. If killed while still affected by this skill, the enemy will explode, dealing 463 damage within a large radius. It pretty much nukes not the entire battlefield, but it nukes any enemies near whoever has the Thermal Bomb inside them. They like kind of raise up and explode, and everything near them kind of blows up as well. It's a really great skill, really good for crowd control. My last skill is Overheat. It's an explosive and an interrupt skill as well. Deal 15 damage to all enemies within a large radius and interrupt their skills. Enemies afflicted with burn receive 186 damage instead, and the burn is consumed. So pretty much I can this is almost like my primer. I can set enemies ablaze with the heat wave, light them on fire, same thing with the thermal bomb, and then overheat them, and then they take massive amounts of damage since they're burning. Most likely the thermal bomb is going to explode, doing even more ad clear, and any enemies that are not directly burning, they're going to take a little bit extra damage, and I have some mods on my armor that allow me to do extra damage to those enemies. So let's first start with our stats real quick. We got 255 firepower. Honestly, this build, this early game build, really isn't about using weapons that much. As you guys can see right here, my anomaly power is 413. This is pretty high for pretty early in the game, I would say. So having high anomaly power is pretty important for this build because this is a skill-based build. My health is rather low, so I'm kind of a glass cannon, but my armor is rather high because I have some high for me at least, high level pieces of gear. I mean, this could be a little better, but 206, 204, 177, 201, I have some pretty nice armor right here. As for my loadout for my weapons, we're using an assault rifle. Now the weapon perk that comes on is Essence Thief, shot to regenerate your health, and have 11% crit damage. This is how I'm going to be able to stay alive whenever I can't get the kill, because as long as I get kills on enemies that are burning as a Pyromancer, I get health back. If I'm not able to do that, this is one way that I'm going to be able to stay alive. And then I have a shotgun. Another way I'm going to be able to stay alive, it has a 12.8% weapon life leech, meaning that as long as I'm doing damage with this weapon, I get life in return, or it's like life steal. But the weapon perk that comes on it is burning bullets. Shots inflict burn on enemies. This just kind of adds to like that Pyromancer effect, and the damage slaps, or the shotgun slaps rather. So it does really good damage. I light enemies on fire, so if I don't have any of my other abilities available, I can use my shotgun, set enemies ablaze, and then use overheat, and then they're gonna blow up and die pretty much. And then my sidearm is just any other pistol. It doesn't really matter for this build. So let's go ahead and start with our headpiece. Right here, this headpiece is giving us 37 points towards our max health. It's a nice little bonus right there. But the perk that comes on it is Big Boom. Now the Big Boom perk gives us a 20% increase to the explosion radius of Thermal Bomb, which is extremely valuable for this build because we're going to be using Thermal Bomb as our main way to clear ads and clear any enemies that are rushing towards us. So having a bigger radius for that is always awesome, always good. On my chest piece is giving us 42 points towards our anomaly power. This is a very heavily skill-based build, so I need as much anomaly power as possible, but the armor perk that comes on this one is 3rd degree. Overheat, increase weapon damage against enemies damaged by this skill by 25% for 8 seconds. So like I said earlier in the video, overheat is like my primer. I lay into them with the overheat, it catches them on fire, and then any enemies that are affected by this take 25% extra weapon damage for 8 seconds. So I can pull out my shotgun or just lay into them with my assault rifle, and you're gonna take a lot more extra damage. Now onto my leg piece. Now this is giving us 36 points towards our anomaly power. but the armor perk that comes on this one is very important. It gives us burnt out, which any enemies that are damaged by heat wave take 35% extra damage for 8 seconds, just from anything. It can be weapons, skills, so it gives me, I'm getting already 25% extra damage towards weapons, and then I'm getting 35% on top of that from any skill or weapons. This is insane. Like I said, it's my primer. Anytime there's like a chunkier enemy like a captain or just a boss, I use heat wave all the time. It's gonna keep them burning, it's gonna keep them, like, I guess, vulnerable or weakened or whatever it is. They're just gonna take more damage from everything. Onto my gloves, we're getting an extra 42 points towards my anomaly power as well. This is how I'm able to get my anomaly power so high, because all my armor is just geared towards that. And the armor perk that comes on this one is Fire Frenzy. Thermal Bomb can be activated one additional time before triggering the cooldown, so pretty much I have 2 charges of Thermal Bomb. Like I said, is my main way of clearing ads, so just having 2 of them is awesome. And onto my foot gear or my boots, I'm getting 48 points towards anomaly power. And then we have the armor perk Hellfire. If the skill damages 3 enemies, all subsequent enemies will receive an additional 62 damage. So that's the heat wave perk, or the heat wave skill, when I send out the fire flame across the ground. If I have 3 enemies or more, they're going to take 62 extra damage on top of what they're already going to take. Not to mention the fact that they're going to be weakened from all the other perks that I just mentioned, so they're going to take even more damage than that. It's a fantastic perk for any time I'm getting rushed by a bunch of enemies. But if I can have maybe, like, I don't know, I have a couple other perks that I saw that I'd rather have here, but since I don't have them on my, you know, my foot gear, I'm not able to use them. So like I said in the beginning of the video, this build is insane for the early game. You're able to do a very good ad clear. You're able to keep yourself alive just for setting enemies on fire, which is very good. You're able to stay in the fight longer. If there's a boss or a chunky enemy, you're able to prime them with the heat wave or whatever it's called, and then do a bunch of damage with the thermal bomb and the overheat, because it does tons and tons of damage. So you have good boss damage, you have great ad clear, you have self-sustain with my weapons and just being a pyromancer. I think this build is pretty good. It's going to take you a long way through the end game, or sorry, through the early game, I should say, because, you know, we haven't even gotten to the end game yet. So definitely keep this build in mind. Any pyromancer, use this build, use these perks, because they're awesome. Thermal bomb is great for clearing out the ads, like I said, and it has a really long range. You can just sit behind cover, use the thermal bomb. It's going to track towards the enemy, get the thermal bomb inside them, then you can use, you know, your sniper or assault rifle, whatever you have on you, and you kill them. They're going to blow up, kill any enemies that might be in cover with them, or if they're rushing you, maybe you can hit them with the overheat, or sorry, the heat wave, use a thermal bomb, and then there you go, you're going to blow them up. They're going to clear any ads that are near you or near them. When it comes to bosses, you're going to want to use your skills a little bit more efficiently. Like, there's some skills that have interrupt, meaning that they're able to interrupt whenever a boss is going to cast a spell at you or cast an ability at you. So you kind of want to save those abilities for that, because those abilities that the boss use are very powerful and they will kill you. So I recommend, you know, using your your heat wave to prime them, do extra damage. Maybe use one of your thermal bombs, keep the other one just in case they want to pop their ability, use it to interrupt, and then use overheat. Is going to do massive damage. You're able to just destroy bosses with this build as well. So that's pretty much the build. Now I kind of just want to talk about the game for a little bit. I heard about this game coming out a while ago, and I didn't know the demo was out, but I saw the demo was out, and I saw this game is coming out rather soon, April 1st. So I figured I might as well download it and see what it's about, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, of course, there's a couple of things I think they need to work on, like the cover system is a little bit glitchy, but I was reading an article saying that they are addressing that. But as for like the loot and the gameplay just feels so fun, and I can already tell there's so many builds that can be made in this game, because they actually give you percentages. There's a pretty big skill tree. There's a bunch of skills you can use. So I don't know, I think I'm gonna start doing a couple builds for this game and see where it goes. I'm having a lot of fun, and if I'm having fun, I can put that energy into my content. You know, I need to be having fun. So I think I'm gonna try this game out. Might do a couple streams here and there, I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna make a couple builds. I'm gonna try out all the classes, see what builds I like, and definitely look out for them. So if you are gonna play a lot of Outriders and you are curious to see what you can do in this game, definitely subscribe to my channel, because there's going to be a lot of builds. I love making builds. That's what I do for Destiny. So I think that this game has a lot of build potential, just like Borderlands and just like Diablo. I wouldn't even consider this game a direct competitor to Destiny. It's more of a direct competitor to Borderlands and Diablo, just because of the way the loot falls and how the gameplay feels, and I don't know, the build crafting, it doesn't feel like Destiny at all. So it's along the lines of Borderlands. So I don't know, we're gonna see what happens with this game, and I don't know, I look forward to making more builds. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos, links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go ahead and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fat_Bloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.